Hello, and welcome to our LinkedIn Engineered webinar, 6 Tactics to Leverage in 2024. We are with True Marketing. True is a strategy-first B2B marketing agency that specializes in content marketing strategies. I'm Kara Moon. I'm a senior inbound marketing specialist with True, and I specialize in marketing automation and specifically helping clients with their executions and on LinkedIn.
And I'm Casey Tyring. I'm also a senior inbound marketing specialist. I also do a lot of the execution of our marketing strategy for our clients. So you can see me in a lot of different platforms, email newsletters, social media, blogs. And yeah, I just make sure that all the content that we create for our clients is optimized and shared appropriately.
So while we'll be specifically talking about LinkedIn today, there's a lot of changes that have been happening in marketing that have led us to this webinar. So we used to live in a world where we would see a lot of website traffic and new leads specifically from organic search. As long as you had a well-optimized website and strong content, the traffic came and the new leads followed. But within the last 2 years, things have been changing. We've seen a number of Google algorithm shifts. Helpful content update was one. The EEAT updates were another, where content was ranking that had experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. We've also seen the rise of AI and how that has quickly emerged and disrupted a lot of strategies, and a lot of organic search started tanking. AI-assisted search became a thing, so you might have noticed Google SGE on your Google search results pages, where AI is now serving up results to inquiries without having to click to ranked results. A lot of users are also going straight to ChatGPT for their answers, as well as generative AI platforms. So you might have used Bard, or which is now called Gemini, or Claude, or other platforms. All of these changes have resulted in less website traffic and, as a result, less leads. So how are we speaking to that? How are we answering that issue? We're seeing a rise in a multi-channel marketing strategy. So instead of focusing only on one channel, organic search, and an optimized website, we're now having to create strategies that are channel specific, whether that's email, YouTube, events, or as we'll be talking about today, specifically LinkedIn. In our State of Marketing to Engineers report that we put out every year, this statistic has not changed. YouTube and LinkedIn consistently rank as the top social channels. So today we're going to be meeting our audience directly where they're at and talking about 6 LinkedIn tactics that you can begin to leverage in 2024.
Right. So like Kara said, this webinar is completely focused on LinkedIn tactics. She also mentioned there's multi-channel approach. You're supposed to be talking about YouTube and being an expert on all channels. So this webinar is to help you become an expert and really well-versed in LinkedIn. So we'll go over some tactics that are listed here. And then at the end, we'll go over some quick win hacks as well. So the first tactic that I want to mention is recommended posts to employees. So to back up, LinkedIn, like most social media platforms, really wants users to stay on their platform. They don't want you to click into your website or have users click into a blog or anything like that. They'd rather all users stay on their platform. So this webinar will help users and page admins like play to that kind of game and optimize their posts so that they can fare better on LinkedIn. So anyway, let's get into recommended posts to employees. This is a feature that most people do not know about. So to explain it shortly, and we'll go into a demo in a second, recommended posts are curated posts that only employees see. And instead of sharing a company page post, these posts show up on your employees' personal profiles as if they had written it themselves. This is just another kind of way to increase reach of your message while still in LinkedIn. So let me show you how this works in real life. I'm going to share my screen and share post. So this is what a company admin page looks like. Normally, you're just going to hit post and create a post there. But for recommended to employee posts, You'll click here and you'll enter a new feed. This feed is only something that employees can see, the public cannot, but it's all curated posts. As you can see, I'm the admin for this page, so all these posts are curated by me. And this will allow your coworkers to share posts as if they wrote them themselves. And this is what that looks like. You'll copy link to recommendation. And it opens in this window. So all the employee has to do, it's very simple, is hit start a post. And here you can see Casey Tiring wrote this herself. She's going to post it. And it looks like I drafted that. This is immensely helpful if you have a lot of employees, you want them to post on LinkedIn, but they have no idea what to post. They don't know how to write well the social media. They can't find the picture. This is all very common issues for if you want your executives to post more, if you want your salespeople to post more. So this tool is really helpful. So Casey Tiring will hit post and it'll show up on my feed just as if I had drafted this myself. There it is. So that is a very helpful tip that I know a lot of people, even our clients, have no idea about. So we wanted to make sure we highlighted that here. Now let me go back to True Marketing and show you on the employee side what that looks like as well. So right now I'm an admin, but if I view as member and as an employee, because I'm an employee of True Marketing, you can see my company. And they can look through all these posts that they are available to post as themselves. So you can imagine this is a very helpful tool if you're trying to get multiple people sharing their posts. Then I'll quickly go back to page admin just to show you what the analytics looks like on this. So you'll go to analytics and you can see how your recommended posts are performing and how it will increase your reach and your messaging. This is your normal page for analytics. You'll just go to employee advocacy. And I'm going to go to 365 so you can see a little bit more data. But this just shows how many posts, recommended posts have been created, who is posting these, and what kind of LinkedIn members have been reached. So demographic data here, and then traditional metrics here. So if you haven't used this, this is a great tool to use to increase your reach for company pages. All right, another tactic that is really important to use, I also don't see a lot of people doing this, but this can really increase engagement, is brand search. So again, we want to make sure that we're playing to LinkedIn platform, we want to keep them on the page, and we want to make sure that our company page is coming up as very engaged. If it looks like our company page is engaged with the audience, our posts will perform better. Brand search is one way to do this. So brand search is just manual social listening where you are searching your brand name or an industry topic on LinkedIn and commenting or engaging with that as your page profile, not your personal profile. I'll also give a demo of this too so you can see it in action. But this is really good low-hanging fruit for people that may be talking about you on LinkedIn, but they aren't tagging you. They're just mentioning your company page and you would have no idea, you wouldn't be notified of it, but they're engaging with your brand. So let me show you what this looks like in practice. So we will go to LinkedIn homepage. I'm going to search the word True Marketing because I'm searching my brand name and hitting enter. It wants you to go to the company page because it knows me, but you'll go to posts and then sort by latest post. Now this should become a practice. I do it for True Marketing and clients regularly, once a week, bi-weekly. But you'll want to go to latest so that you can see anything you've missed in the since you've done this in the past. So this is a perfect example. I just searched True Marketing and it looks like Christian has shared one of our articles. We did not really get notified of this. We may have gotten notified of a share. This looks like a newsletter, but there has been no engagement on this post, even though he's being a brand advocate for us. How you engage with the company page is you toggle from your personal profile, because it looks like I'm talking or using my own profile, and you just switch to your company profile. Now you can navigate and interact as your company page. So in this case, I would like this and say, thanks for sharing. And you do this on a regular basis. Christian may not like us or become a follower, but he did get some good feelings out of us acknowledging that he shared our content. Now, with brand search, just keep going down and scroll. Eddie, it looks like he has shared and tagged us. So we would have gotten a notification about that. But this is just another exercise to make sure that we're engaging. So I will click into True Marketing. I'm engaging, but it looks like True Marketing hasn't liked this yet. We haven't engaged yet. And look at all this content that we could have been a part of. So very important to make sure you are searching your own brand name. If you're a global brand or a larger brand, you may have a lot of success with this. And if you're a smaller brand, you may not see anybody mentioning your company. So even still, you should be doing this on a regular basis. And you, instead of searching your name, you can search an industry term or an industry news item that then you can engage with as your company brand. So it helps a lot. I do this all the time with my clients. There's been times where you're gaining 15 to 20 followers a week because so many people are talking about your brand, but not directly tagging the company. And this helps tremendously. Let me stop sharing. One other comment on this is you should also be engaging, if you're not already, with the notifications that you're receiving as a company page. If there's someone that's tagging your company because they just started a job or they have a work anniversary, it's so easy to just go in as a company page and like it at the very minimum, say happy anniversary, we're so glad to have you. But all this engagement just shares to LinkedIn that you're active, that you're engaged with the personal users, and that will ultimately improve your performance of your company page. All right, this is an obvious one. An obvious tactic is to have a bunch of different post types in your feed, but this is something we have to call out each time because it's a good reminder. I know a lot of our clients, when they're starting out or we're reviewing them or auditing them, we see often that they will just post their blog articles over and over, and that's all they're feeding to their audience, or they're just creating a post whenever they have a webinar. A lot of people won't react or engage with that, and that suppresses your reach over time. So this is your reminder to be creative with your content and create a bunch of different types of posts. Also, experiment with those posts. So for example, here we have a ton of different types that we do at True Marketing. We'll have videos. I'm sure a lot of company page admins know firsthand that people photos, culture photos perform very well. So it's definitely important to have that in the mix. And then one I really wanted to highlight is right here. This is called a document post or a slider post. This is where you're uploading a PDF and multiple pages PDF, and each page is a different slider. So on your phone, you're swiping through, or if you're in your desktop, you're clicking, but each click is an engagement metric. So that's a hack almost to say to LinkedIn, hey, this post is engaging really well. It increases engagement by a lot compared to the other posts, and it's always one of our top performing posts. Another one here are case studies and testimonials. If you're tagging your partners, that will also increase engagement because they often will engage or comment on those posts as well. And then of course we have polls, but it's just this slide is mostly to call out, experiment, make sure you're creating different types of posts that are LinkedIn friendly, that keep them on the platform. And you can give away some of your valuable information in the post and not have them leave the platform, and that will help improve your performance.
So our next tactic is going to be LinkedIn newsletters. And I love LinkedIn newsletters. I think they are grossly underutilized. A lot of people don't even know that that's a tactic that's available. So one of the cool things about LinkedIn newsletters is when we started doing ours for the first time, we quickly surpassed the number of subscribers on our LinkedIn newsletter than what we had on our website. And because of that, or what caused that, is that every follower that we had on our LinkedIn page was notified that we created the newsletter. So that first image on this slide is the invitation. That's what the followers see once you create a newsletter. They can then accept and then add a new subscriber. Every time you post a new edition of your newsletter, your subscribers then get a notification on LinkedIn, and they also get an email with that newsletter content directly to a lot of times it's their personal email on LinkedIn. And so you're hitting audiences not only through their work email, but also through their personal. This also speaks to what Casey talked about earlier with how LinkedIn rewards content that has users staying on the platform. So this leverages the fact that these newsletter editions are directly on LinkedIn and it's not linking to an external site. Another benefit of this is the ability to rank in Google. So as long as you're linking back to your original content, so let's say your newsletter is going to be your blog articles, or in our case, we also do it for our podcast episodes. We have a little blurb at the bottom of that says this is linked from our original content, and it links back to our website. This makes Google, or is a trigger to Google, that this is not duplicate content. So both of those pieces can rank in search results. And lastly, as a company, you can develop up to 5 different newsletters per page. So there might be different use cases that you can employ. For us, we have a newsletter for our articles, but we also have one for our podcast episodes. And it's important to note too that this does not overlap your existing subscribers from your website. So while you may be sending out content from your website subscribers and also duplicating this with the notifications from LinkedIn, because it's a personal email, a lot of the times that users have set up with their LinkedIn profiles, there's not a lot of overlap in audiences. So you're hitting more people with that content. So let's look at what this looks like in practice. So when you're on your company page, there's a couple of different places that you can navigate to for newsletters. If you already have one created, or even to create one initially, up at the top where you would normally start a post, you can hit Write Article. This will take you to the editor where you can then add your feature images, add in your article content. If you have multiple newsletters, up in the left-hand corner, you can toggle back and forth between those newsletters depending on where you want to publish that content. There's a couple of cool features with embed that I will show you guys here in a minute on our newsletters. I also want to call out the Manage section where you can manage your SEO settings. This allows you to customize the title and description that's going to show up in search results. So this is definitely an important piece that you want to make sure you edit every time you have a new edition. Once you're happy with all of your content, you've updated those SEO settings, you would then hit Next. It'll ask you to provide an additional post to go with your newsletter content, and then you can schedule or publish straight from there. To see all of the additions, we're going to go back to our company page. And on the left-hand menu, you can navigate to newsletters. And it will take you to your newsletter overview page. One of the limitations is if you have multiple newsletters, it does not show that you have multiple newsletters on this page. So you'll have to go back and forth between the posts on your feed. But in this case, it pulled up our Content Marketing Engineered, which is our podcast newsletter. You can see how many editions you have. You can create a new edition from here as well versus going through the right article. You'll also see the number of subscribers. Up at the top, they just added the View Analytics. There was not LinkedIn newsletter analytics for a while, so this is a nice new feature. And it will show you any trends for your content, your engagement totals, your subscriber demographics. You can even go so far at the bottom to see specific subscribers to that newsletter as well. And lastly, going back to looking at a finished edition, one of the things that we like doing is embedding content. So you can embed YouTube videos like you see here. So that can incorporate YouTube into your LinkedIn strategy. We also like to embed Spotify podcast episodes so we can have the player directly within our newsletter. But what's really cool is that you can embed profiles to specific people so that you can connect from the newsletter content as well. So whether you're using newsletters to share your article content or to direct traffic to other parts of your website, there's a lot of different use cases for this tactic. Next, we've got showcase pages, and showcase pages are an extension of your company's LinkedIn main page. This is designed to either spotlight locations or separate divisions or business units. You can even use them for events like we've done here. Our Industrial Marketing Summit, which we just announced for next year and opened up registrations, is an affiliate page of our partner Cadence. So on the left-hand, or I should say right-hand side of your LinkedIn profile, you would see an affiliated page. That is an indication that this is a showcase page. Now, an important thing to call out, because I've seen it in social audits that I've done and for many companies, is that they'll create an affiliated showcase page, let's say for locations. They'll have 10 different location pages and none of them are active or have any content associated to them. Do not do that. This is a separate page that also needs to be actively engaged with. You need to have a content strategy and constantly posting for it to be beneficial. So keep that in mind if you are going to experiment with this tactic. And our last tactic is LinkedIn groups. So this is a really good way to connect with and engage with niche audiences. So as an example, on the right-hand table, we've got a couple of different groups. So if we wanted to engage with semiconductor companies or electronic components or digital marketing for engineers, we can research those groups, see how many members they have. Are they active? What are they talking about? It's really good for market research, but it's also a good way to join the conversation for your specific target audience. Couple of basics to keep in mind, though, is every group has its own set of rules. So you want to be mindful of those rules and you want to engage actively in those group discussions to really make this a valuable tactic, as well as contributing meaningfully. Don't just constantly post content that's not going to be valuable. Use this as a way to engage with that audience. The benefits of that is you have increased networking opportunities. You're really showcasing your thought leadership and your expertise in an area, but you're reaching a targeted audience and being able to share your content to a wider number of people. So while that wraps up all of our tactics, we do have a section of little known LinkedIn hacks. So I will turn it over to Casey.
Perfect. Yes. So everything that we talked about and what we will talk about are things that you can try. Any little bit helps. So if you decide to create a recommended post, that's amazing, or a newsletter, just one of those things are a huge benefit to you as a company page admin. So let's get into the LinkedIn hacks. Hopefully these are some that you may not have known about or things that you've heard about that you haven't tried yet. So first, I want to talk about organic post targeting. This is a really cool way to reach a niche audience that you didn't normally have access to before without being an advertiser on LinkedIn. So this is organic post targeting. You'll go into your LinkedIn admin page, start a post like normal, and then where it says your brand name, it says target true marketing right in the front. You'll drop down that toggle. And instead of clicking anyone, as you can see on the right, you'll toggle the button to target audience. From there, it'll show up this bottom section where you can target by language, job function, location, company size. This is really helpful if you have a large audience and you want to target a certain demographic for maybe a location trade show, or you have a specific service that only applies to a certain industry. That can really help you reach the right audience and again, engage the right people. So that's organic post targeting. Give that a try. The next one is page inboxes. I'm sure a lot of you have seen or had weird notifications, but LinkedIn now has page inboxes where users can message you directly. You need to be aware of this. Right now, it does seem across our clients and across Even True, it is a little spammy. So we're getting a lot of spam messages, but this is something just as a call out to be aware of, and you don't want to miss any important messages here. So those are page inboxes. And then another hack that we've seen recently is commenting versus sharing to increase your post reach. At the top right, I show an example of what my notifications look like on a daily basis. It's constantly so-and-so commented here, so-and-so commented here, but it's not usually this person shared a post. So what that indicates to us is that LinkedIn is favoring comments over shares. And we have an example of that here. So here are two posts. They're both promoting a podcast episode that we've done. The post below has 7 comments and a couple shares, and it had 1,200 impressions. The same style post, same tagging and everything, has no comments and no real engagement, and that post only got around 300 impressions. So what we're seeing is if you want to increase your page engagement or your page reach, it's often really important to tag so that people will comment or have your employees comment. But again, commenting is better than sharing sometimes. The next hack is commenting your link versus sharing your link in your post. Like we've said a couple times in this webinar, LinkedIn does not really want users to leave. So they will suppress posts that have a link in their, a link off to their own website. So you might have noticed, or maybe you will notice now that you're looking at it, is that a lot of thought leaders will put their link in the comments. You can see here, Jennifer posted a very valuable post about a blog article that she wrote. Instead of linking her blog article, she posted that link in her comments. The engagement did well, but it's just one other little hack that you can do to keep your engagement up and your reach up. And another very valuable tip, another hack that you can do, and I'm going to stop here and say you don't have to do all of these things for every post. Like, it doesn't have to have a link in the comments and be long form and emojis and all that. It can all be just little tiny experiments that you have. But long form versus short form, we found, because the long form post has valuable comments, has valuable data in here, and the user will not leave the site, it performs better. So this is something that if you have a blog article that you want to get eyeballs on, maybe craft some of the most valuable parts of that blog article and put it in a long form piece. Another thing here you can notice is the use of emojis. While long form performs better, it's also pretty valuable to have something to break up those posts. We use emojis a lot in our content across clients. And I'll just call out that emojis are your friend. They can be kind of daunting and scary because there's a lot of weird meanings for different emojis. But if you have kind of guidelines and guardrails to which emojis you want to use, they can be helpful. If you're a technical company, you can use like a gear or a lightning bolt or something like that. But emojis are your friend. Another thing for long form posts that perform better, they also have kind of a drawback, and that's you don't get the full post right away. So this is just a reminder to use a first line hook, because in any long form post, you only get 200 characters visible, and then you would have to click see more to see the rest. So an additional click is good for engagement, but you do have to have kind of a hook to that so users will look into it. All right, hashtags. Similar to emojis, I know a lot of people shy away from hashtags. They don't think they're very valuable, but if you're strategic with hashtags, they really do work. So this is a slide to show the different hashtags that we use at True. Brand-oriented hashtags are different than just the broad service hashtags. So, and then you can see we have a follower count. So this comes from that link at the bottom of the slide. It's a Chrome extension, and it's a tool that will tell you how many people are following certain hashtags. So it's a really strategic way to use hashtags in your posts. For example, we have a research report that's State of Marketing to Engineers. 0 people are following it. So we don't need to hashtag that name, but we would want to include a mix of other hashtags that are following. So B2B marketing has tons of followers, but maybe that's a little too much competition. So we'll include some lower competition hashtags as well. Okay, another hack is collaborative articles. This goes back to if you are positioning people as thought leaders in your company, this is a great way to build trust with their profiles. So collaborative articles, if you contribute to these enough and you create value for these collaborative articles, a user, a person, will have a badge attached to their profile. So you can see here, Eddie is a top B2B marketing strategy voice. Stuart is a top information technology voice, and I'll show you how you can add that badge as well. And this is how you'll start. And the link that I just clicked will be available in this PDF. So it'll start here. These are all the topics that are available as collaborative articles. If you're a technical company, your thought leaders can contribute to these articles and get a top voice badge. So let's say you're an electronics company and you want to contribute to electronic circuit design, you'll click into here. And these are all the articles that you can contribute to. So for example, what are the essential safety precautions when soldering electronic circuits? We'll click into here, and your thought leader, your expert, can contribute to these articles. It's allowing me to contribute. And the way this works is after you have so many, sometimes it's 3, sometimes it's more, it just depends on the topic, you will earn that top badge. The content also has to be valuable, so you can't spam it and then eventually become a top voice, but that is one trick to get your thought leaders to have that badge on your on their profile and add a little more trust. So that was collaborative articles. And I think we have one more. Another hack is competitor ad analysis. I love this one because it's like you're a detective and you're spying on your competitors. But if you didn't know, you can see all of your ads that your competitors are posting. So this is not their organic post that you can easily see on their profile. This is the advertisements that they're running at any given time. So I'll show you really quickly how to get to that. And then this is when you view as a member. So obviously not as an admin, as a member, you can go to any company page. It looks like this. You'll go to posts, and then on the left-hand side, it says, see a collection of active or past ads by True Marketing. Anybody can do this. Anybody can go to a company page and see which ads they're running. So you just click Ad Library, and voila, here are all the ads that True Marketing has run. If you're doing competitor analysis, you know how important this is to see how your competitors are positioning their services versus how you position yours. And then once you're here, you can do any search that you want. Let's say you're a competitor of Microsoft. You can see all of their ads that they're running. Now, Microsoft is a huge brand, so there's a couple different like company pages that are running ads with that name, but you get the idea. So that is a hack. Definitely take advantage of this information that you might not have known about.
All right. So with all the tactics that we've shared, all of the LinkedIn hacks that you can experiment with, now how do you measure that success? What can you expect? So if you experiment with any of the number of tactics that we've shared, you will see an increase in engagement and followers. But it's not just about clicks. It's about post engagement and measuring your likes, comments, and shares. That is considered just as successful. It's also important to note here that you're not going to necessarily see success in a week or 2 weeks or a month. It's a long game. So the more consistent you are, the more that you are contributing, the more you're engaging, the more success you're going to see on these platforms. Consistency is going to be key. But you can take that a step further and create a LinkedIn scorecard that you can use to measure your engagement and your success. So this is a sample that I've put together. I love metrics and scorecards and spreadsheets. So some of the metrics that we track for True, we set a goal for published posts during any given time period. We also track total followers compared to new followers for that time period, total newsletter subscribers compared to new subscribers. And then we also will measure the percent of total website sessions. So how many people are coming to the website because of your LinkedIn engagement? This metric will tell you that. And depending on the tool that you use, you can measure it. If you're using HubSpot or GA4, you can find that information as well. Last but not least is engagement rate, which is certainly, I think, the most important, even though I have it listed last. Engagement is really the metric that everything is moving for. We're even seeing it on the GA4 side. A LinkedIn benchmark is 2 to 5% engagement rate on a post is considered good. So anything above 5, you're doing very well. In this scorecard example, I have a line item for your average. So what's your baseline? Where are you starting? In this example, I took all of the 2023 numbers. I gave a 2024 goal, and then I'm measuring it per quarter. I made up these numbers, but anything that is green is above 90% to goal. Anything that's yellow is 70 to 90% of goal, and anything red is less than 70%. Now, when it comes to engagement rate, you can take that metric even further and look at all of your posts individually. So every quarter, this is straight out of True's metrics that we did for Q1. I'll look at all of our individual posts. I assign a category, I'll assign a topic cluster, and then I will track the type of post that it is. So going back to what Casey shared earlier about post types, you can see that in the top 5 for Q1, the top 4 were all document slider posts. We're seeing anywhere from 25 to 30% engagement, even higher on the ones that are listed. So that's really helping impact our overall average engagement rate. The last one in the top 5 is International Women's Day. We shared a collection of photos of the True Crew. And like we had also mentioned earlier, anything that has pictures of your staff, of your culture, generally performs really well across the board. We see that for us, we see it for clients. Anything in the middle was kind of a mediocre post, so to speak. And then at the bottom, you can see the bottom 5. So this is also helpful. So if you're starting to see trends of post types or topics, maybe it's salesy posts that are performing the least well, I should say, then you can track that here well and modify your content strategy accordingly. So now what? What are the recommended next steps? So if you're feeling really confident after the webinar, you're ready to dive right in and try and experiment with all these hacks and tactics, then we highly recommend taking a look at your content strategy for LinkedIn, putting that together, identifying your goals, identifying your post types, and creating a scorecard and a content calendar. But maybe you're not feeling super confident and you want to dive into a few more resources, then we have a number of resources on our website that we've linked here. You can access our research that we talked about at the beginning of the slides. You can listen to our podcast. We have a number of episodes on LinkedIn and about multi-channel marketing. We also have quite a few articles about the new multi-channel approach on our blog as well. So you can dive into any of these resources. Well, let's say you're just feeling super overwhelmed and you're not really sure where to start, then you can schedule a LinkedIn audit with Casey and I. And this will help you quickly gain an understanding of where you're at, what's your current state, how are you comparing to competitors, and what are some ways that you can overall improve your LinkedIn presence. So with an audit, you get a kickoff call with both of us. We'll introduce our teams, we'll discuss where you're at, any struggles that you're currently facing, and we'll review a timeline and next steps. From there, we'll take all that information and we'll do a competitive overview of all social channels. We'll do a deep dive LinkedIn audit and a competitive content analysis, as well as put together a scorecard and recommendations that you can implement immediately. All that will then be shared in a results call, and you'll have a decent start to your LinkedIn strategy. All of this information will be emailed to you shortly. So if you have any questions, please connect with us. I've added our email addresses, or even better, connect with us on LinkedIn, and we will talk with you soon. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks, everyone.